Thank you, Rhonda. You know, one of the questions we hear over and over again is about the 1% voluntary tax.
Well, the Community Sustainability Fund is 1% and it's voluntary. It's voluntary on the part of businesses. We don't require all businesses to collect it. And it's voluntary on the part of a customer. If they refuse it, we take it off of their guest receipt. And we use that. That's our private funds. That's
Rhonda and team, last year's budget that we approved here was for a $250,000 round, $250,000. Am I correct? How did we do? Did we make those 250? Did we have to spend less than that budget? How did we do?
We budgeted for this coming year flat to what we actually received last year. So we made the budget, but we didn't increase very much. The growth in traditional there is not much growth. So looking forward to next year, we're budgeting flat.
So when we approved last year $250,000 budget, am I understanding correct that we received $267,000? Hence, this year we're budgeting $267,000?
We're projecting that we're going to end up receiving 267.
My question is around the destination marketing goals, because I understand the support of sustainable tourism, and I think many of us who've lived here for long enough have felt the pinch of that maybe this isn't sustainable anymore, but I still see this as a goal. This is on page 56 of the packet. The goal is to raise awareness of Whitefish as a travel destination and drive visitation during the non-peak seasons. Is that really still a goal of the CVB with this public money that we're getting?
It is, because businesses to operate year-round and employ people year-round kind of need some customers year-round. And in fact, we have very, very radical swings in business. And summer is much too high and has gotten higher the last number of years. But the shoulders are quite low. And winter is not as strong as it could be. And so we continue to focus on those, because for a sustainable business, if we could have the same amount of business every month and not have that huge peak and keep our businesses healthy, that would be our desired goal.
Okay. So my question is more of how do we explain that to the people who feel like that we have spent enough money marketing Whitefish that why are we still spending public money on getting more people here in the off seasons, quote unquote off seasons, because it hasn't felt like we've had an off season, although this year feels a little different.
Yeah, I think the COVID years were weird, and I don't think we can really even use them as what is going to happen going forward. Certainly this year seems much more like all the other years. And I know that occupancy, for instance, in hotels, which is an easy way to gauge if there are people in town, is quite low in many months of the year.
The one philosophical question I have is when we evaluate livability, our barometer for livability always seems to be whether we've met this certain occupancy threshold with our hotels and lodging establishments within town, understanding that a lot of us don't depend on tourism for why we live here. And it's just a philosophical statement that I wanted to ask, and I think I will reach back out to Rhonda, because there's certainly other factors we need to look at when we set those thresholds. And to Steve's point, you're spot on. We don't have shoulder seasons anymore. People crave a break from the traffic, the congestion, the pollution, and the ability to go back downtown and shop in our restaurants, shop in our stores. And the comment that, well, that wouldn't happen unless we had visitation occurring during the shoulder seasons as well to keep those businesses viable, I don't really buy that argument to its entirety, because I think there's a lot of people here that miss going downtown and being able to walk in and have a nice dinner at the restaurant without making a reservation 1 week in advance.